Good blessed throwback Thursday, August the 12th, 2021. It's about 10:05 a.m. I'd like to greet all human beings all around the world with a universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. Doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. Doesn't matter whether you the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you the proclaimed toughest to the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. I think I have proven it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, whether you white, black, or any nationality. Not even your, whatever you think, you have that prerogative to think that particular way. It doesn't matter whether you like my YouTube videos, you like me, or anything that I may say or do. I encourage any of you all that hasn't subscribed to my YouTube channel to do so. It's Raymond, R-A-Y-M-O-N-D, Ivy, I-V-Y. It doesn't cost you anything financially, nor materialistically. All it costs you is your undivided attention. As you can see, y'all heard a lot of that quacking. That was the ducks, the white ducks. They come over a lot. I threw the food somewhere else. I didn't see them, but some of the other geese probably got it. But I come here to meet every now and then when God give me something, especially concerning my son's death, who was found hung, lynched in Carbondale, Illinois on Friday, March the 19th, 2021. In the 400 block of Oakland Street on the third floor in the Gaslight Apartments, hanging from a rail. There go my other geese. Do y'all see the way they are facing? And you see some of them is out in the water where you can see them, and the other ones, all of them is facing, coming towards the grass. This is the entrance of this park that I'm in, and they know that a friend of mine was murdered right here in broad daylight, shot, and nobody been arrested for it yet. At least they did have it on the news once or twice down here. But what I want to talk to you all today about is very, very important. Everything I talk to y'all about is important, but I want to show you something now. Some people say, why you study criticizing blacks in Carbondale, or why you study criticizing the people in Carbondale, period. And then, some say, why do you always talk about the NAACP in Carbondale, Illinois, and in Charleston, Missouri? And I'm going to tell you why. You see, when you do what God tell you to do, he tell us to watch and pray. And that's what I do. I watch and I pray. You see, just like when they say, if it look like a duck, walk like a duck, quack like a duck, act like a duck, guess what? It's a duck. Now, if anybody been following my YouTube videos since March the 24th, 2021, when I made in Carbondale, Illinois. If you follow those YouTube videos, it'll show you a pattern that the Police Department, the Carbondale, Illinois NAACP, the Carbondale, Illinois Southern newspaper, the Jackson County, Illinois Coroner's Department, and a whole bunch of other people that call themselves leaders in Carbondale, Illinois. They trying to cover up my son's death. I know it ain't the first that they ever covered up. But let me show you something lately now. In Carbondale, I went to on the 10th on August the 10th, 2021 was the second time that I attended one of the Carbondale, Illinois city council meetings. The first one that I attended was July the 13th, 2021. And when I spoke then about my son's death, look at that, they coming closer just to listen. The Ducks is giving me more attention and showing more concern to my son's death than any of these so-called leaders here in Charleston, Missouri, where I live at, especially the NAACP. You see, they making themselves being known. And I appreciate them. That's why I come and feed them all the time. You don't hear me criticizing them. Look at that. But let me show you something. Now, when I spoke on the 13th concerning my son's death and what the chief of police in Carbondale, Illinois, told me and my two youngest daughters on April the 14th, 2021, right in the lobby of the Carbondale, Illinois Police Department on Washington Street, right in front of that little front window where it got up on the top, on the outside, it says, video cameras is here and operating, I believe. And then there's two buttons that you can push, that you can, the people would talk to you on a speaker. So if they can talk to you on a speaker, they heard. Now, if I'd have threatened the chief of police, or my daughters would have threatened the sergeant that was standing there with him, the so-called investigating sergeant of my son's so-called allegedly death investigation, had we threatened them, I bet you they would have not only had it videoed, but they would have had it recorded. I wonder, do they have it recorded? Because the chief of police said he didn't say that. But you see, that was on the 13th. He also made a statement and said that he was waiting on the Illinois State, they was waiting on the Illinois State Police to complete their investigation. They was waiting on the paperwork or the completion of the pathologist report, which has been completed since June the 16th, 2021. It was certified by the Jackson County Coroner's Department, Jackson County, Illinois Coroner Department on June the 23rd, which he certified my son's death as suicide, contributing factors, abuse of a methamphetamine. But you see, if I wouldn't have not complained, they would have just burnt my son's body. It wouldn't have been an autopsy. Wouldn't even waited on the toxicology tests. And now it's all of a sudden, it's a death investigation. The death investigation been going on about 140 days now. What is they trying to get? The chief said he was waiting on these papers, and I have them in here. They didn't ask to see them. You see what I'm saying? The chief didn't get up and speak like he did before, saying that he didn't say that statement about my son having demons in him on April the 14th, 2021. That's why it's good to document stuff. And no disrespect to white folks or anybody else, but black folks, you got to stop. That ain't sellouts now. Because there's plenty of black sellouts with these positions of authority. But you got to document stuff. My young daughter that spoke on the 10th of August at the city council meeting, she said she wished she would have video. But anytime something happened with us, with the police department or some of these sellout blacks, we gonna record it. If they don't want to record it, then we don't have nothing to talk to them about. But let me show you something. Now, if they was waiting on them papers, on the 10th, the papers had been ready already for 42 days. But see, the chief didn't get up and say, well, we got them. They don't want them. You see what I'm saying? They don't want them because the coroner's report, when you get that, the coroner's report will show you from the day that they came that they found my son's body. He went on what the Sergeant Guy Draper told him, a beat control officer who allegedly found my son's footprint. Footprint. What is he doing out there looking for footprints for? You see what I'm saying? He said they say he found my son's footprint. He seen my son's body. Him in the Jackson County ambulance service called the coroner's office, and this is what they said on March the 19th, 2021, according to the coroner. He can't change that report now. He been watching my YouTube, but you know one thing about it, when you lie, you got to continue to lie. He specifically said that when he got the call, he was requested to come to 400 Oakland Street in the Gaslight apartment building, where it was a individual, I believe he said black male, it don't make no difference. He said that they told him that he hung himself. Again, look. I know it, y'all. They even saying it's a lie, and the truth ain't in it. But he said they said he hung himself. But let me show you something else now. On March the 24th, when I went up there to Chicago, to Carbondale from Charleston, Missouri, and my son's mother came from Chicago, and we met and spoke to the Deputy Coroner Sam Bryant for the Jackson County, Illinois Coroner's Department, and the Sergeant Matt Dunnings, who's the investigating commander police for the Carbondale Police Department. When we met with them, I told them I wanted to see the scene of the crime. And I went to the scene of the crime. I say crime. Sergeant Draper took me there, was going over everything. I called the Carbondale, Illinois. As a matter of fact, I called her right from her church because I met one of her deacons, and God led me to the right people. I talked to one of their deacons, and the deacon told me this is the church, but the one that I thought was the president, he's no longer the president, but it's a female, come from Chicago, y'all, educated now, black female. That's the president. I told her about my son's death. She didn't call her national chapter in Washington, D.C. She called the police department. The police department called me and said, somebody from your family called the NAACP and said that they don't think that your son's death was suicide. that raised a red flag right then. Why is she calling them? These is the people that I'm criticizing because they trying to declare my son's death a suicide. But then I talked to another lady. Now, this lady here, the president, she got a doctorate degree. They call her doctor. Then another doctor that's on the NAACP, that's a woman too. Also, this woman that's got a doctorate's degree or a doctor on her name. She's a part of the NAACP there in Carbondale. Plus, I think she's the head of another organization called Racial Injustice Center. Something to that nature. I talked to her personally. She told me that they spoke about my son's death at the NAACP meeting. But when she said they, it wasn't all the members, because I know some members that's helping me underground that didn't hear nothing about it until I got to posting it. But then, let me show you something else. On the 13th, show you how God reveals stuff. See, the mayor, he's white, and I ain't got nothing against him. He was there on July the 13th. But then on August the 10th, just yesterday of 2021, it was a black lady sitting there. She was the acting mayor. The mayor and the city manager was gone. Let me show y'all something. You see how close they coming? They trying to see, look at that, that's the three. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, or the Comforter. Some of y'all think I'm crazy, but I ain't crazy. If I was crazy, then my son's body would have been burnt. You see what I'm saying? And there wouldn't be no investigation. But let me show you this here, y'all. When we went to the meeting yesterday, the coroner's office, not the coroner's office, I want y'all to see this truck because, like I told y'all, a friend of mine was murdered in this area. You see what I'm saying? I don't trust no one. So y'all just keep an eye. If you hear shots fired, you got a good look at it. But I'm gonna finish my thing here. But let me tell y'all, when I went to that meeting, guess who the chair was? A black female that happened to be a NAACP member. Then there was another NAACP member there that I met personally on May the 10th, 2021 at a function in Carbondale, Illinois, and she gave me a complaint form to fill out against the Carbondale Police Department. I filled it out by email, sent it back to them on the 11th. I hadn't heard nothing in 30 days to give me confirmation that they got it and give me confirmation of what status it is. So I sent an email to both of them personally, then to their Carbondale, Illinois NAACP email because they don't have an address. I guess they don't have a home base, and they have 2 phone numbers that's disconnected. So I emailed both of them. Then I emailed another NAACP member that's active. And he emailed them. Then over about 30-something days later, they sent me a confirmation saying the president sent it, said they did receive my complaint, which I shouldn't have had to even, when you fill out something or send some email, they let you know that they received your complaint. But anyway, she said they received my complaint, and it's on hold right now, waiting on them to get through with the investigation. You see, they never met with me personally. The only reason the one met with me that gave me the form, and she got one of the second highest ranking positions in the NAACP in Carbondale, Illinois. She's the chair. She's the head of the criminal department now. From Chicago, y'all. The president is from Chicago. You would think they know the racism and the corruption there, but the lady that was chairing the city hall meeting, the city council meeting, she was an NAACP member too. Me and my daughter got up and spoke and let it be known that the chief wasn't telling the truth. And it's an unjust investigation. And the chief didn't get up to speak. Nobody representing the city got up and spoke. Nobody said anything about my son's death. But yet they was talking about going back and forward about some money being donated for a dog park, which I ain't got nothing wrong with that. Then the same lady that's the chair of the NAACP criminal department, she was there on the 10th, yesterday. She didn't even mention my son's death, but she meeting with the state's attorney and the police chief by themselves. The president is calling them by themselves, but they ain't meeting with me. So what are they talking about? But she got up and spoke at that meeting. I thought she was finna get up and speak about my son. But guess what she went up in there and spoke about? It's all about money. I want to know why ain't no black businesses getting any contracts in the city of Carbondale. Let me show you what them folks that she going to meet secretly about my son. Let me show you what they responds to her. They ain't even had nothing to tell her. She know the drill. They don't care about that or nothing else. But what they want to care about. And when I say they, I'm not just talking about all whites. I'm talking about certain whites. I'm not talking about all blacks. I'm talking about certain blacks. Now, why ain't my son's name being mentioned? All you got to do is look at these NAACP, the president in Carbondale, look at some of their members, and you will see that when they have stuff on their Facebook pages and everywhere else, guess what they talking about? Something that you're going to have to pay money to attend. Black Businesses Association, like they care about black business. If they don't care about a black man being hung mysteriously, do you think they care about black businesses? All they want to do is try to tax y'all. You see what I'm saying? A brother that was there on June the 13th that spoke about how the city had time to come write him a citation because it was a fight in his bar or his lounge, and he did the right thing. He separated the two, left one inside and put one outside. The one outside kept trying to come back in to prevent somebody from getting physically harmed or murdered. He did something that they wouldn't have had common sense to do. He put chains on the doors so the one on the outside couldn't come back in. Now, they made a ruling on that, and I believe 6 of the city council members, you see what I'm saying, said he shouldn't be fined. But the mayor, they said, changed it around at the meeting and changed it around and said that he was found guilty. So he was there again on August the 10th speaking about it. And there's only one brother that got up speaking up for him. The NAACP criminal department chairman, she didn't get up and speak. The NAACP acting mayor was up there. What's going on, y'all? That man got up and said his business, they got enough time, the police department got enough time to come over there to write him a citation, but when it's shooting over there by his business in a black neighborhood, they ain't nowhere around. I'm going to show you how I can confirm what that brother said. You see what I'm saying? Because they told me they handle cases by priority. You see, they can't focus all the time on my son, but yet here's a white woman got found spending my son's food stamp card on April the 29th, 2021, 39 days after my son was found hung. And her and her husband admitted that they had my son's food stamp card since last year in June. They got enough time to go write that man a citation, but ain't nothing happened to this white woman, which is a school teacher for the Rebound, Carbondale, Illinois high school, and her title is a parent educator. How could you teach any of our young black women or men to be a good parent when you and your husband is spending, taking advantage of somebody that's on drugs and homeless, got their food stamp card, spending it while they're alive and addicted to drugs, and spending it when they was dead. So, but look here, the police ain't have time yet to do anything with that. Let me tell you another thing. The president of the NAACP, who know about my son's death, who's in contact with the police, but not me, she's on the board, the school board. And I told her who the female and who the male is. They ain't did nothing. They ain't had no time for that. But they had time enough. My son supposedly got hung on March the 19th, 2021. But the police department, the city, and the new state's attorney and them had enough time to file 2 warrants against him while he was dead on March the 24th and 26th of 2021. They had enough time to file that, but they ain't got enough time to file charges on that white woman and that black guy that had my son's food stamps card spending it. That's a crime. That's a state and a federal crime. I'm going to leave y'all at that for right now. But the NAACP in Carbondale, Illinois is just like the one in Charleston, Missouri. You'll be better off if you're black and looking for some justice. You'll be better off joining or going to complaining to the Ku Klux Klan. And I'm going to tell you why. We know the Klan don't care nothing about us, and I'm going to tell you the NAACP don't. Because if she can get up and talk about some black businesses not getting contracts and don't talk about a dead man, a man that been hung, and that ain't the first time in there, she ain't caring about them black business. All she want is money. I'm going to get on up out of here, y'all. All I can say is God is good. God is great. He's always on time. He never too late. And let me tell y'all something. I don't fear no evil because God is with me. His rod and his staff, they comfort me. They prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. They anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely, not maybe. Goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. You see, I know my daddy, World War II veteran, honorably discharged, that experienced prejudice here in Charleston, Missouri, experienced prejudice in the 40s, and when he was drafted in World War II fighting against Hitler. Him and my mama experienced it down here in southeast Missouri, the Boot Hill, one of the most racist places on the face of this earth. Some of the most sellout black leaders on the face of this earth, just like in Carbondale, Illinois. Sad. Call themselves preachers. Want to take these titles. But my mom and daddy moved from down here because of the racism and grew. We was grown up on the near north side in what they declared was the most infamous, notorious housing projects in the nation. The Cabrini Green housing projects. But we survived. I'm a product of it. I ain't scared of these folks. Peace be still.